Just wanna feel purple yellow.
Welcome to the 8th episode of the Purple, Yellow, Red and Blue podcast, a Portugal The Man podcast. Each episode I'm joined by guests to talk about everything going on with Portugal The Man, news, social media, new releases, with opinions and impressions. Also each episode we have the PTM Song Game, the quiz, and a chance for me to hang out with the guest, hear their opinions, along with the episode. You can find this podcast, future and past, up on YouTube, Spotify, Google, all that stuff. If you're listening on YouTube, leave a like, helps people find the show, that sort of stuff. All good. My name is Mark, and my guest joining me today is...
Jackson. You can find me, you might have seen me on Reddit or in Discord. I go by Jackson Perryman on pretty much everything, just my name.
Yeah, just your name. How you doing on this fine Saturday afternoon, evening, Jackson, then?
Not too bad. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. It's a pretty humid day here in England, but you know we get about 2 months of summer a year, and we have to enjoy it. So yeah, awesome. Before we proceed with any more on the podcast, some news, some events have happened with Francis. So I just thought I'd say by the time this podcast releases, the news about Francis has probably reached most people listening, most people in the Portugal Man community, but if not, before we start today, I thought it'd be appropriate to give this attention first. So, Francis, who's John and Zoe's little girl, has recently been diagnosed with a disease that affects 6 people in the world. It's a really rare disease. We're all hoping, we're all praying, we'll do what we can. There's a donation page. Really good if we can try and whack that up. I had a little look earlier, and quite a few people have already donated already. And this has been a thing which has been up for 24 hours. I just thought, get this out at the front of the episode just to because most people will click on the episode first and they'll listen. So try and get this in front of as many eyeballs or ears as much as possible. It's really sad, but it's I feel like as a community we can maybe do something about this. I don't know if you have any thoughts about this, Jackson.
Yeah, it was definitely teared up a bit watching that video, but
yeah,
I think just wishing them all the best. I think some people are throwing around some ideas for stuff we could do as a community to support that. So yeah, just wish them all the best, and I know they've done a lot for us over the years, so
absolutely
love to give back in any way we can.
Yeah, and again, I'll leave a link and put some money towards it because I like to help out in a little bit. Money's it's tight at the moment, but this is worth it. So anything to try and help out, because
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that video as well, and they're they're hanging in there, and then Zoe cracks. You're like, this is really painful, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But still, I'll leave a link in the description, top of the thing. Try and do our bit. But yeah, awful news. But sorry, Jackson. I just thought, just get that out in front. Have to do our bit. This is the Portugal The Man podcast. This is the fans thing. I just thought, do my due diligence, I should say, and just sort of pronounce that first. But Portugal The Man, when was the first time they came into your life? When was the first time you experienced them? Yeah, let me know. How was the first time you got to hear about them, I should say?
I was actually, I guess, kind of late to the party, especially in comparison to some of the people on the subreddit and whatnot.
Hmm.
I actually found out about them through Feel It Still.
Oh wow, you really do.
So yeah, no, I heard Feel It Still back in 2017, and like to be completely honest, I didn't think much of it at first. But, like as I just kept hearing it everywhere, I was like, oh, I kind of like this, and so I
Okay.
kind of checked out some other stuff and went backwards through their albums, and after that, it was just love. Really, I just loved everything I heard. So about 6 years of being a fan now.
Oh wow, 6 years. Yeah, so you would have probably feel it still, and then you just jumped on. So, have, do you remember where you heard it on what platform or anything? Did you just hear it passing in the street, or did you go to a show and you weren't expecting
I
to
think
see
it
them?
just would have been like the radio probably,
Just a
and then
radio.
like commercials and TV shows.
All right,
Yeah,
because
just everywhere for like a year there.
yeah, we got. I mean, the community, we get all sorts of people. Like I've had people who have been fans since 2006, and then you get me who's been a
Yeah,
fan since about, gosh, when was it? 2012 now or something. So get a vary. We get a variation. So don't like, everyone is welcome. Obviously, it's quite nice to meet people who are
yeah.
a bit more new. You get that introspective. So you heard that, and then you went to the back catalogue. I'm guessing you were like, okay, what else have they done? I'm interested.
Pretty much, I kind of just like I went through Woodstock first, and then Evil Friends. I just went like backwards.
Hmm.
I'm not sure why I did it that way, but
Hey,
it's kind of interesting, like
it's not a wrong way of doing
hearing
it.
their newer stuff, and then yeah,
Yeah, I suppose that
yeah,
style change is probably quite. You're like, oh, this is different. Oh, they've changed quite dramatically. Whereas the rest of
yeah,
us are
definitely,
sort of getting used to it now. All right.
yeah.
Any favourites then? Any favourite songs in particular? You said you weren't too keen on Feel It Still, so.
Well, I definitely like that was like initially it definitely really grew on me after I just kept hearing it everywhere. In terms of favorite songs, probably I don't know. It's tough. Like if you asked me to pick 10 favorite, I probably couldn't. But if I had to narrow it down to one, I'd say probably Hip Hop Kids.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know why. It's
Okay.
just kind of always. I just remember hearing that song for the first time, and it's not even really the type of music I would have listened to back then. But I remember just hearing that song, and I just was like, "Whoa, this is awesome." So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
punchy,
probably
isn't it?
that song.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I mean, like, we'll go into it later. We'll talk about it in the some of the topics, but I've been enjoying the new stuff quite a lot, and it's quite refreshing because I've been around for about 10
Yeah,
plus years, and I came along during the. I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you're much of a football soccer fan at all, but we'll probably mention this later about they had some songs in the FIFA games, and that's how I jumped
right.
in.
Yeah,
And begrudgingly, they have to play those songs sometimes, for the fans like me who are still keen. But I came along sort of in the mountain and the cloud 2012 era, and then I've been kind of loosely sticking around, and then like sort of until the last sort of 4 or 5 years, I've been a bit more hardcore and paying a bit more attention. Tried to memorise a little bit more about the band, and then last year I was like, you know what? I feel like I kind of want to do a podcast, and I saw we had such a good community, and I thought, you know what? This would be good to get people on, talk about experiences, that sort of thing. So I sort of have curtailed from there, really, and some people seem to enjoy it, so I'll keep doing it, I suppose. So you said hip hop kids. Then any other favourites? I know I'm hard pushing you. I know you said you couldn't name five, but anything else? Any
um,
memories?
in terms of memories,
Well,
um,
have you seen them
yeah,
live?
yeah, I've seen them twice now. So the first time I saw them was back in 2019 when they went on that tour with Mumford and Sons. They were
Hmm.
opening for them. So I went to Vancouver and I saw them open for Mumford and Sons, and I actually got to meet the band and hang out with them backstage for a little bit before they
What?
performed.
Really? Oh wow! Your first show. Damn. You've done really well
Yeah,
there.
so that's definitely a memory for sure.
Oh,
Um,
that's
then
incredible.
the second time I saw them was just last July. I saw them at Winnipeg Folk Fest.
Ah, nice. Were they at the same theatres? The shows, the first one and the second one.
Oh no, different provinces.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah,
where was the first one again, sorry? The second one was in Winnipeg. The first one was at
Vancouver, so
Vancouver,
BC.
okay. Okay, nice. Oh, wow, you got to go hang out backstage. That's pretty... I'm very jealous.
Yeah, it was
They-
pretty wild.
Oh, nice. What were they like in person, then? Pretty down to earth,
They're
pretty...
like, oh yeah, I mean, I always say like meeting them, you'd never think that they're like, Grammy award winning musicians are just so like there's no ego or anything like that, just very regular people who happen to play music, just very cool people.
Mm. Oh, awesome. That is... I'm quite jealous, because they haven't done a show in the UK for quite a few years, and I did get an answer out of John why they haven't, and maybe next year, maybe we'll keep waiting, but someday I'll...
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
So you've seen them twice then, like, do you remember any highlights from those shows, obviously, apart from obviously meeting backstage? I suppose that's probably the main highlight.
Yeah, for sure. I think seeing them in Winnipeg last year was a pretty cool experience because so Jason wasn't there. I think he had like a family emergency or something, so he had to go home. And then they were flying out a backup drummer. I think Aaron Steele, I think his name is.
Oh, right.
And
It
he
wasn't...
actually got
Okay.
so he actually got stuck at the airport, so they didn't have their backup drummer. So it actually ended up being their, I believe their drum tech slash stage manager who ended up drumming with them.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
So it was pretty wild. Like it was very kind of on the spot. Zach was like, while they were performing, Zach was like in the back, facing the drummer, like trying to like just like help him out because it was all very last minute. I think.
Oh, man.
It's just as the fan, I think it's always cool to kind of see your favorite band like a different kind of scenario.
Mm.
It's kind of looser, but it was made me realize like how professional these guys are. Like, I mean, most people would have canceled at that point if both of their drummers couldn't make it, but they were like, nope, we're gonna do this anyways, and I think they killed it.
Awesome. I suppose Kane Ricochet was unavailable. Usual stand-in.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I've seen him. He's jumped in. He was full time with them up until about 2018. Again,
right. Yeah.
for a little while, from basically Evil Friends onwards, really, kind of that sort of 6, 8, 7, 7, 6. I can't count. Some amount of time. Yeah, and then Jason has come in. Yes, I've heard that story. Jason
Right.
had to fly home for one of his children being born. So that was a bit chaotic. Yeah. Oh, wow. So you were directly affected by that. Any other memorable non-PTM shows you've been to see? Anyone else you really like? You want to give them a shout out or anything?
I mean, probably my second favorite artist is probably this artist named Grandson. Not sure if you've heard of him, but
I'm
I've
not
seen
familiar.
him about a year ago. I think I'm seeing him again in July. He's pretty, yeah, very political.
Mm.
I'd recommend checking him out for sure.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not for everybody, but it's pretty cool stuff.
No, that's fair. I always like to ask other people now on here what else they like, and we had Amy on last time, and big Madonna fan. It's like very contrasting styles, and then you're bringing up another artist
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with as well, so it's for people to check out.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Awesome. What do you what's life like in Canada? What do you do for a living then?
So I'm just finishing up my second year of university. I'm doing I'm taking political studies. I just call it pre-law because I'm planning on going to law school after I graduate with my undergrad.
Oh, wow. Gosh, a lot of learning. Oh,
A
excellent.
lot of learning, a lot of reading and writing. But
Okay, so are you on like
I like it.
summer break at the moment then?
kind of. I'm in one class right now. And
Okay.
then at the end of this month, I'll be on actual break.
Ah, right. Fair dues. Yeah, it was a little bit early for summer actually, but I suppose I don't really know how it works in Canada. You might get summer a little bit earlier because winter comes in a bit earlier. Fair
Yeah.
enough. Oh well, it sounds like you're working hard. You're a lot smarter than I am. Wasn't cut out for university. Couldn't even. Wasn't for me. So
It's not for everybody, but
No.
I think sometimes I don't even know if it's for me, but
No, I think
Just
yeah, you got a plan, you got a roadmap. You know what you're doing. A lot of people just sort of wing it, and at least you've got that roadmap and that plan. I've been working for like 8 years. So I literally finished up what you would have as high school. We have college over here. You do 2 years of that minimum, and then you can start working, or you do university, obviously, and then you get a job. But
okay.
I just jumped straight into work, and it's a slog.
Where do you work?
I'm an architect. Is the short answer.
Okay,
Yeah, there you go.
cool.
Just think, the bloke from How I Met Your Mother. There you go. That's me. That's me. If you ever seen that show, yeah, pretty
Yeah, no,
much.
that's cool.
Yeah, it's definitely not as glamorous as some of these big fancy architecture firms, but you know we work on some pretty big sites. We have fun. It's a good laugh. Yeah, it's a good group of people to work with.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah, awesome,
Awesome.
awesome. Right, we've got some PTM news. First up on the docket, or the first thing really that actually came out today, but by the time I can be asked to edit this and make it sound good and do all the little editing tricks and bits and pieces, get the thumbnail done. Potentially the last Knik broadcasting. I don't know. We're at 9. Do you think we'll do 10? What do you think, Jackson? Are we going to get another Knik broadcast? What do we think?
I think so, probably. I think actually like they were posting them on YouTube like quite consistently, even more than like on Instagram. But I noticed that I think they might have taken some of them down and kind of like reworked them. So I
Yes.
think they're kind of just working on them as they go, and yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we get a few more. I've been enjoying them.
Yeah, they're nice little tidbits into their life story and backstory and bits and pieces like that. It's quite cool to see Paul Williams do the interviews.
Yes.
I wasn't sure who it was, and I was like, oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this ninth one it's a clip with Chris Black, and it's think smarter, not harder, and it's just a little like backstage. You know, they're joking about we can sell tickets. You know, come do this and that, everything, and then it cuts to him saying, "Think smarter, not harder." I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. It's good to see like the backstage, the other side of people. Yeah, it's pretty cool. What did you? Have you seen the clip? What do you think of it?
I did, yeah. No, like it's a cool concept. I think doing these kind of like mini episodes, just kind of their background, I guess, and yeah, I guess the recent episode spotlighting Chris was a nice gesture, I think.
Yeah. So episode 9, available now on YouTube, probably Instagram. I saw it on YouTube this morning, so yeah, go check it out if you haven't. All right, Jackson. What do you think? Chris Black changed my life. How much have you heard of it? What do you think? How you feeling? How you feeling about it? Have you saved any
Really?
tracks? You holding off?
No, I'm really envious of the people who have been doing that, who have that self-control and patience, because it's definitely not me. I'm like, when it's like midnight or about to hit my midnight or whenever the track's coming out, I'm like there waiting, and the second it comes out, I'm listening.
Oh, brilliant.
So that's me. But yeah, I've been really enjoying it. I've heard all the singles,
Nice.
and I was lucky enough to hear Anxiety Clarity, the closing track
Why,
during that Q&A.
Everyone has heard this bar me. I feel like I've missed out. Oh my goodness. I mean, it's 2 weeks away from the time of recording. I can wait.
Yeah, and I mean honestly, like I'm happy I heard it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like I wish I didn't, because
Yeah.
I think it will hit really hard in the context of the album. I think you're really gonna enjoy it after hearing like the whole album and then hearing how it ends. I think definitely be impactful.
Any favourites so far?
Just to like rank, I guess I can just like rank
definitely.
5 singles that have come out. I'd probably go. Number one's definitely between Champ and Plastic Island for me.
Okay.
I'd probably say Plastic Island just because it's more fresh to me. So I go Plastic Island, Champ, probably Summer of Love, Thunderdome, and then Dummy, I'd say.
Oh, so Dummy least favourite so far. Okay.
I'd say so for me.
Okay. I'd probably go Dummy as the favourite. Not to be weird. Yeah, I don't know. It's the most memorable. It's stuck with me. I know it was the first one, but it's really punchy.
Yeah.
I thought I loved the video, the lyric video as well. I think it's brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Tank Dog,
Yeah,
big Tank Dog fan. Awesome.
Have you heard all the singles or?
I have now. Apart from anything official, obviously, I've caught up with, but I sort of have to with this because people will, and it will sound a bit silly if like, well, I haven't heard it, so I have to.
Right, yeah.
I'm keeping up with it, so yeah, I really like Dummy, really like Summer of Love. I quite keen on Plastic Island, but I've only heard that one once or twice, so maybe I've got to let that one groove a little bit, settle a little bit more.
Yeah.
I think the rest of them are all pretty good as well. I think the bar, the bar is set quite high this time. I know. I feel like everything is quite. There isn't any. I don't know if you know Jackson, but I really didn't like. I don't know how you were about Woodstock, but there were a few where I'm like, I can pass on this. Keep On is one that I think I keep on about, to be honest. Sorry, that was a terrible pun. I had to throw it in there, but yeah, there's nothing where I'm like, I will never entertain this ever again. There's nothing like that. I'm enjoying this quite a lot, and we're 2 weeks out, and man, I'm just looking forward to having it in full, to be honest.
I'm like, I mean, at this point, I've heard like, I think probably more than half the album, but I'm just looking forward to like being able to hear it all in order, top to bottom. I think it will be cool experience. Especially considering, I guess it's kind of a concept album. So
yeah, this was mentioned before anything was released that it would be, and maybe when everything is linked together, it will connect a little bit better. Maybe these are the single version, the beginning album, connect together better. It'd be interesting to see, to be honest. But yeah, overall, so far so good. I mean, we're under 2 weeks away, so it's not long to wait now. We've waited 6 years. I can wait another couple of weeks. Yeah. It's fine. Like, we're right there.
No kidding. Yeah.
So, what about Doubt? What are your thoughts on Doubt? Have you heard that?
Yeah, I forgot about that. Acoustic, the live performance they did, and same with Grim Generation. I really like it.
I forgot about
I'm
Grim
really
Generation.
excited to hear that. Yeah. I remember seeing that video of them performing it on the Alt J tour for the first time, and I just feel like that song's like the type of song it just sounds like classic to me. It sounds, I kind of compare it to songs like Modern Jesus, not in that they sound similar, because they don't, but just in the sense that to me songs like Modern Jesus, So American, People Say are kind of like quintessential PTM songs.
More harmonic.
In that, like,
yeah, I can see why you say that.
Like, if I was going to introduce PTM to a friend who's never really heard them, I'd probably show them like those songs first.
Yeah, easily.
And so I definitely think Grim Generation will be like that kind of song that's like kind of like, this is kind of who this band is.
You wouldn't start them with guns, guns, guns. What are you talking about?
Probably not. I mean, maybe.
Maybe that would. Is it that? I don't know if they. I can't remember if that's one of the ones John mentioned. He really likes playing live. I tried to think of like their longest, like most drawn out. Yeah. But yeah.
Honestly, like I don't remember. I don't really listen to the first two records that much. Like I'm not even overly familiar with them. Like I think I know like AKA M80, Chicago. I know. Up Church Mouth. I know like Church Mouth and Sugar Cinnamon and songs like that. But I'm not overly familiar with those two records.
Completely different to what they're doing now, but it's definitely worth listening. Definitely worth hearing out.
Yeah.
I really like Church Mouth as well. I think everything fits in this style of fragrance where it's very hard hitting.
Yeah.
It's funny enough, it's almost 20 years old as well, which is quite scary. It's almost as old as I am getting up to it. So their discography is incredible. It's, what is it, like 8 or 9 now? I'm losing count. I always forget.
Yeah, I think album 9 now, I think.
Oh, 9, yeah. I mean, obviously it's probably not the way they wanted to do it, where they were like, oh, we'll see what we can do, we'll tour, and then we have a week to make everything for the next album, because that's all the time we have left. But they're in a position now where they can take the time and do things properly.
Yeah, right.
I think it's showing with Chris Black. So far so good. But yeah, Doubt. What do you any more thoughts on it?
I'm just stoked to hear the studio version. It's definitely that kind of classic, I think. Like very kind of, to me, it sounds kind of Evil Friends, In the Mountain in the Clouds sort of mix, I guess. Yeah, I love the melody and the chords, and to me, like songs like Doubt and like Grim Generation, even like Anxiety Clarity, to me, like I hear those songs and I'm like, I mean, they just blow me away. Like I just hear like so many. I hear like the Beatles kind of. I hear these kind of like classic, great artists in those songs, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I get where you're coming from. They're definitely drawn from inspiration, and it's really been honed down and focused. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess like another thing I would say, like hearing those songs, and like I think one of the things I love about this band is how open they are about, like every musician obviously loves music, like that's why they make music, but for PTM it's very obvious, like they're very open about like who their inspirations are, and like it's just really apparent how much they love music, and I think you can hear that in their music and their live performances, especially with like all the covers they throw in. I think that's really cool, and I think that kind of sets them apart from a lot of artists.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'm grateful for the covers and things like that. I think it makes it a more unique live show as well. I feel like if you just got the 11 tracks or whatever they're going to do, you'd be like, and it was the same, you'd be like, well, what was so special about coming to see it? Whereas if they put like a live splash of paint on it, they put their own stamp on it, they do that, they flow in with other tracks and stuff like that, makes it a more enjoyable show. They're jamming, we're having fun. It'd be really interesting to see how they're gonna fold the new album, because we'll get into it later. We're going to go through an article by KROQ, but John, as a little spoiler, he'd like to just play the new album. It would be good to just go through that and just not have to worry about the backlog, and just be like, okay, this is what we've done, let's enjoy, let's delve, let's try out this, because it has been a while when they've been performing. I'm sure they've probably done Feel It Still 500 times minimum, so they probably want to mix it up a little bit. I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I think it'll be cool to see. I'm like really excited to see some of these songs live. I think they'll translate really well.
Are you planning on going to see them anytime after? I don't know if they're doing anything in Canada this year. I know they're doing like like large venues, aren't they?
I think they're doing a couple festivals in Canada, but I'm actually planning on going up to Colorado with a friend and seeing them at Red Rocks.
Oh, very nice, very nice. So you're lucky you can
live
in North America. You can just be like, we'll just go to this venue. Me, it's like New York. I had I don't know if you have any communication with Gerald Fjord. He's from the New York greater area, and he said, "Oh yeah, you should just come on over when they next time they have a show." But I'm like, there's a 6-hour flight. That's a 6-hour flight, and then it's a bit more on top, and it's it's just a lot. It's so far. That ocean is big. It's so big. I mean, they used to play in Germany all the time, and I'd probably do something like that. But someday, yeah. But yeah, sorry, tangent. We're going on a lot of tangents. I seem to say this every time. We go on a lot of tangents, but Doubt. I think it's a really magically crafted, deep, and intense slower song. I really enjoy it, and to be honest, I could see it being a closer when it's played live. I don't know, maybe that was,
Yeah,
maybe there's a
I
version.
could see that.
Yeah, I think that is a nice, smooth, and we're done. But they might just do Sleep Forever. So I don't know. They might do that. Yeah, I don't
I'd
know.
love to see like a bunch of their closers like mashed into one, like Sleep Forever, Smile, Anxiety. I think would be pretty epic.
You keep teasing me. Keep teasing me with
I
this.
think, yeah, I think you're gonna be shook when you hear it in context. It's pretty
Where,
epic.
where
Paul
was that?
Williams,
Where's that on the listing? Is it last?
Anxiety.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's the closing track.
it is the closing one. Okay, not doubt then.
Yeah, I think it's like
Okay.
nearly 6 minutes long.
Oh really? Oh wow. Okay, I like that. I like a beefier boy. Okay, a beefier track. No, beefier boy. No, that's fair. Yeah, excellent. Doubt out now, kind of, or wait a week plus. It's available on YouTube probably in some live version. You know where you'll find it. Anyway,
Yeah.
Plastic Island, another one that released very recently. Jackson, what would you make of the Plastic Filled Island?
I love it. I think it's honestly like initially hearing it the first time, I was like, I immediately thought like Radiohead. I'm not sure if like
Okay.
anybody else would think the same thing, but just kind of the general vibe of it felt very like 90s alt rock to me. Um, I think it was interesting hearing John talk about like writing and recording that song. Like he could barely get his jaw open to sing that. I think kind of knowing that and hearing the song's cool because you can. I think listening to that song, you can definitely kind of. There's kind of like a sense of like frustration, maybe, or like it's an emotional one, but it's kind of emotional in a different way. It's kind of just darker, I think.
Mm.
So I think it was cool, kind of having that context.
Yeah, I mean, it's a punchy song as well. The opening, like the first 30 seconds, is quite striking, but very melancholic, but chill. If you know what I mean, if that makes any sense, that's kind of the vibe I was getting from it. So I think your comparisons are, yeah, they're right on the nose as well. Completely agree, to be honest. Yeah, I quite like this as well. Again, it's so different. Like something like Dummy and then this, they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be on the same thing, but they are. They are, and this is good. We're getting a nice smorgasbord, if you will, or charcuterie board, I should say, or whatever you want to call it, of samples to choose from for this album. Everything is so different. It's great. It's like a best of album, but it's just
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
it's all been made in the last. Well, I actually wonder when all of these were made because I'm sure at one point What Me Worry was supposed to be part of Chris Black and obviously got extracted. They put it out early. They were like, okay, we've had this for a while. I'm kind of curious to find out what was made
Yeah.
first on this.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested in like hearing more about the timeline. Um, from what it sounds like, they just recorded like a ton of music from
Yes.
well,
Oh, yeah.
pretty much 2018 until now or so. And yeah, I think something people get caught up on is that I don't know if you remember like kind of right before Who's Gonna Stop Me came out back in 2020. I think John leaked like what people thought was a track list with like nearly 20 songs. You remember that?
Oh, I definitely probably. Yeah, I remember that.
So I kind of, as this album's been rolling out, I kind of went back and looked at that. It's pretty interesting. I think about a few songs off of there ended up on this album, and then
Really? Okay.
yeah, I think so. I
Need
think
to check
Dummy
back.
was on that list. Dummy was on that list. Welcome to America or Thunderdome was on that list. Champ was on that list. I might be missing one or two. Yeah, no, it's interesting. So some of those songs made it on, and then I guess these other songs might be more recent, I guess, within the past couple of years.
All right. Be interesting to see the timeline. Maybe if there's another Q&A. I don't know if you've managed to catch any of the Q&As we've had. I think we had 2 last year. We've had one with the band manager this year, and then another one with John. Quite a short one with John. It was like 45 minutes. I don't know if you've managed to catch any of them, but if they do any more, that would be an interesting question to get in there, to know what the recording order would be, and if there was anything is that been like just they scrapped something, or like we'll park this, or interesting to see what they fold in. They've put out a lot of stuff in the last year. It's been quite unusual. They've been very quiet. Here's a endangered song. Here's a collab with another artist, and a collab with another artist, and a feature, and that was across like 3-4 years, and it's just been bang 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 for the last 6 to 12 months, and it's great. It's great. It's lighting up that hype fire. It's keeping people, okay, let's get that wheel turning, we're coming up, get people excited again. And I think they've done a good job of it. And, the community seems to be more, invigorated than normal. So I'm excited. I'm pleased to see what they're going to do for the rest of this year and for next year. And, from then on, to be honest, it's a good time. It's a good time to be a fan. So Plastic Island. Any more thoughts on Plastic Island? Any other impressions?
I think that's pretty much it. I really vibe with that one.
Awesome.
Probably my favorite so far.
Yeah. Again, that one's officially out, so you can go and watch it, stream it, download it, whatever else they tell us to do in noise pollution. Yeah, right at the beginning of that one. Yeah. Awesome. Okay, Jackson. There was a recent interview live show with KROQ. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I think I've heard them or heard of them before, or definitely Googled them once. The guys did it was John, Zoe, Kyle performing. They did a slow version of Vivid Still, they did Dummy, and Doubt, which was the first time I heard it. I don't know if other people have heard it before, but yeah, what did you think of the little performance then? Have you managed to catch this one?
I did, yeah. It was cool. I thought the kind of slowed down version of Feel It Still was kind of like a nice different
it felt like it fit
a
on.
nice version.
Yeah, it felt different. Nice alternative look at it, which appreciative, because God, I haven't heard that enough. It's yeah, but that was they did some they also did an interview as well. This is quite long. I'm going to go through I've made some notes on it because it's about a 15-16 minute thing. I'll link that as well in the description. If there's an awful lot to link here, Jackson. I've given myself a lot of homework. But yeah, I don't know if you've I'll just dive in and I'll pick up your opinions and thoughts after every major point and be like,
Sure,
okay,
yeah.
that makes sense. So it starts off. John goes into more depth about the creation of Dummy alongside Paul Williams. Jason humming the melody to the bass line. So we started writing along to it. The subject matter of the song is pretty heavy and is everything we are seeing through the news and media, but through the view of a cartoon style. So it's talking about Dummy and the sort of Paul Williams and Jason, and these are all things we know. It's quite interesting actually how deep Dummy is, isn't it? I know it's not your least favourite, but not to throw you under the bus, but yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I remember thinking when I heard it. I tend to hear the song a few times and I kind of check out the lyrics and just kind of try to decipher them. That's kind of one of the things I picked up on, is that kind of contrast between the subject matter and then the actual production, I guess. And I think that's a classic PTM thing. That's kind of something they've always done, is kind of taking a dark subject and kind of putting it through this very upbeat, kind of cartoonish lens.
Yeah, especially
kind
with
of contrast.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because you take something like Evil Friends, for example, it's kind of like a nightmare scenario. It's like a bad dream, but it's I keep using the word punchy, and I'm going to keep using it, unfortunately. It's got that kind of tone, or something like a hip-hop kids.
Yeah.
It's about, it's... Yeah, oh, maybe not the best example, but I think you know where I'm going with that. Maybe you do, maybe you don't, I don't know. I'm rambling. Anyway, made some more notes on it. Jason's humming along became the intro instead of the bass line. He worked with Asa Tacone in the studio once again. John goes on to praise bedroom artists for creativity and likeness to himself and Asa sitting in the lounge and messing about. John goes on to explain the collaboration with Asa and himself. John and the making of Feel It Still. The new album has a lot of Asa's samples. The new album, for example, If It's the Last Dance, You Can Count on Me. That's a line from Asa. That's from Dummy. For example, he has a great talent for creating fun and finding that in just about anything. So, yeah, just going a little bit more deeper on, again, talk about they used to write all their music in like 2 weeks. Now they have a lot more time to plan this out. Ace is in the studio, they've got other people in the studio, they're sort of like playing around with ideas. It's quite interesting to see that methodology and John's appreciation for every level of artist, from bedroom artists, we'll say. I know he goes on to talk about being creative with like making noises but like banging on the table and like making odd sounds and stuff like that. But, yeah, what do you think about this slightly opening the lid on sort of Asa Tacone and that collaboration there?
Yeah, I think it's like hearing about Jason doing that vocal bass line is like the funniest thing to imagine.
Yeah.
I feel like I remember like meeting Jason years ago, and he's just like the sweetest, like just kind of like a goofy guy. He's so nice, and it's just so funny to picture him just like coming up to him and humming that bass line. I love that that like I love that part of the song. It's just so, I've never heard that before.
No,
which is weird because it's like it's just him like humming a bass line, and I think they just kind of pitched it down. But it's so different, and I love that.
And as soon as it's played, you know what it is straight away. You're like, you know where we're going.
It's definitely memorable.
Definitely.
In terms of the Aces stuff, I think yeah, I haven't heard much electric guest stuff like Ace's band, but I think he, like the stuff I've heard that he's produced with PTM, I think it's all really good. Sounds like John really enjoys working with him. So
yeah, I think he's definitely brought him up multiple times in interviews for like the past 5-6 years, something like that. And I think he produced like, or co-produced about like half this album, I think so. Something like that.
I think that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's hey, if it's a working relationship and it's working well, keep going, keep going, I suppose.
Yeah.
No reason to stop it. This one's a little bit more about Black Thought and how he was working with him. So the collab with Black Thought, who's from the band Roots, I think. I could be wrong. John says, he starts off by saying he's the greatest lyricist of all time. No pressure. He goes on to say a quick story about PTM works on an album with Sean Kane, him and Sean Kane, I should say. They have recorded a bunch of music at Sandy Bodecker. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Is that correct? I don't know. It's a studio. Apologies if I got that wrong. With Sean. So it's 3 a.m. and Black Thought comes in with a red eye and sits down on his phone. He starts texting. Then he goes on to say, "What have you come up with? Let me hear it." So they start cycling through the tracks, and John's thinking, "Oh my god, what are we doing? He doesn't like anything. Oh, he's like having a bit of a meltdown. He's worrying." Yeah, so Black Thought starts saying, "Hey, can you play the next one, And suddenly he asks if the mic is on. John says yeah. So Black Thought gets up with his phone in his hand and just sings the entire song from start to finish. Then Black Thought calls out and says, "Hey, at roughly like 2:43 or a random time, just randomly. He says, "The authority is historically bankrupt. Take me there and punch me in." Then he does it with the song. And he left afterwards. He left his phone there. And it turned out he actually just been writing lyrics the entire time. And he wasn't texting. So that's incredible. That's John giving some praise to Black Thought, who they worked with on Thunderdome, I believe. That's right, yeah, with Natalie. I can't pronounce the surname. Should really learn it. Yeah, Jackson, what do you think about Black Thought then? Give him a little bit more credit now, to be honest, after hearing all the hearing that backstory.
Yeah, I think I'm not like a huge rap guy or hip hop guy, but definitely my favorite rapper. I'd probably agree. I think it's definitely the best lyricist I've ever heard. Like, it's pretty amazing what that guy can do, and just his voice is so expressive. It's so raw, and like, yeah, I think the first I really heard of him was those collabs he did with PTM on his last album. I think they featured on like 3 tracks. There's a song called Fuel, Nature of the Beast, and there's another one, I forget the name of it, but they're all really good.
I'm going to look these up and make them, because I think this passed me by, unfortunately. This must have just, probably was when I wasn't looking at the internet for like a week. They must have just come out and I must have just missed them. Oh man. Okay, I'll check them out.
I think it's called Streams of Thought Volume 3. I think
Okay.
It's the album.
Oh, right. I will I'll check that out tomorrow then. Oh, excellent. Thank you. I didn't actually know that. Oh, awesome. But yeah, that's a pretty cool story about him. Like, just, you know, he's thinking away, working on it, and then he just performs and delivers straight away. Yeah, I know John likes to really be like honed in on lyrics as well. I know he likes to write them. He's very focused on that, and then, you know, having, you know, no influence basically, or I don't know if he had no influence, but just to let someone just go for it on this. I don't know what the relationship is in that regard, but yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's great that he got him back to work on Chris Black. So yeah, fair play to him. Excellent. Yeah, the host goes on to ask about the title of the album, Chris Black, Changed My Life. John says, what the host asks, how did he come to know Chris and all this stuff. So John says, we met Chris through A.G. Rojas and Michael Reagan. And he had a great energy, and I remember the first time he came to a show, and he came with A.G. And we've been around lots of funny people, and this is John saying it, got a lot of comedy all the time. I see a lot of comedy, and I've never laughed so hard. The two of them, AG and Chris, are two of the funniest people in my life. John goes on to say that he was a great presence and would always share music with us. He goes on to talk about the first time Chris basically became a hype man for the band. He's like in between songs, he's just like, oh yeah, that was great and everything, and I'm just like chuckling away like, man, what's going on? Just loving it. Yeah, nice introduction. Again, we're gonna do a little bit of backtracking to the Knik Broadcasting episode 9. I think about this show, alright, Jackson. There's a reason I put that in the beginning, because there's a clip of them. I believe it's them two. I think so anyway. I hope so. Yeah. Chris Blackman. Yeah. Have you ever? Did you meet? Would you have met him in 2019? I don't know now.
No, I didn't. I think he might have passed by the time I met them.
Oh,
but
gosh.
So I wasn't overly familiar with him. I distinctly remember though watching the Coachella live stream in 2018, I think, and he was there. He was on the stage emceeing, and I just remember like it was so epic. Just like the energy he brought, it just really kind of elevated. Just added something special to the show, I think. His presence, you could definitely feel it. So yeah.
Yeah, he's. Was that the Coachella show they put on YouTube? They just put it on the channel. Was that the one?
I think.
I know they definitely did something like that. Because I've seen
they
that
live streamed it.
It might have been that then. Yeah, it might have been that. But yeah, it's a pretty cool story to see how, like, he means so much to John. He means so much, and he was just such a life force for them. Again, it's why it's Chris Black changed my life. You know, that's why he's named after the album. You know, he meant so much to them. So yeah, really striking. John goes on to talk about Chris's passing and the kind of the fracture it creates. This is in the interview. The fracture it created in their friend group and the importance of this person and these people in our lives. What it means to have your version of Chris in your crew, and it's that person who makes you laugh and is stupid and checks in when checks you when you cross a line. John goes on to say he dearly misses that. He ended up writing about family and these connections and how much they mean to us and how they make us really retrospective. Leaving him, losing him, you never really lose this person. I recently, in the past few months, pick up my phone, this is John saying it, and say, man, I've got to tell Chris about this. So yeah, he goes on to talk about that sort of feeling of losing and leaving and missing Chris. Clearly a deep-seated relationship. I don't know if that's the right term anyway, but pretty, I think you could tell they were pretty close, couldn't you, from this, because I never had the pleasure of meeting Chris either. Sorry.
Yeah, I really respect everything they're doing with this album in terms of the hashtag changed my life. Kind of talking about like how everybody has a Chris Black in their life. I definitely like seeing those posts. It's something I definitely thought about, like who's that person in my life. I think everybody's got one, so I think it's just really cool what they're kind of doing with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Encouraging everybody to do a bit of reflection and kind of make those people aware that you appreciate them. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, 100%. It's terrible that he's gone and he was loved. It's a shame, he's clearly really important, and I'm rambling. I don't know what to say. It always feels weird in these moments, but the next bit from the interview talk about Beavis and Butthead intro, and I don't know if you remember this, Jackson. You said you went to see him in 2019. That was correct. Were they still using the Beavis and Butthead intro at that point?
I don't know if they played it. I don't think at either of the shows I've been to they had it. I think they still use it generally though. Like if they're going on tour, I think they still use it. I think they're using it on the All J tour.
Oh, okay, all right. It's a pretty funny intro. I like it.
It's pretty epic, yeah.
Yeah. This part, the tour video and the origin. John goes on to say, I don't throw the word genius, and I won't really use it, but Mike Judge is very smart, funny. I think he's been to a show at some point. We were getting ready to play Coachella. We're getting down to the wire, trying to clear this the right way without bothering him. They didn't want to do that. They were really big Beavis and Butthead fans. I just love what he does. This is John talking about Mike Judge, talking about Beavis and Butthead. Someone said that I might not, it might not be able to happen. So you might have to hit up Mike Judge. And he had no idea it was happening. So they did, and Mike said, I didn't know you wanted to make this, but I'll make it happen for you. He goes in and turned it around really quickly and made it in a couple of days. He was ripping on the band and then turns around and says, this is the greatest band of all time. So, again, if you haven't seen it, you probably have if you're listening to this, the Beavis and Butthead intro. They're like sort of teasing the two guys on Beavis and Butthead on the couch, and they start taking the piss out of the Feel It Still video, and it kind of hones him into them walking out on stage, basically. It's their walk-on track video. Yeah. What do you think of the Beavis and Butthead intro, Jackson?
So funny. I think it's funny. I think he actually mentioned in that KROQ interview how it's just so funny how it goes from like them kind of making fun of the band, and then the next thing you know, it's like they're the greatest band in the world. think it's so funny, but I think it's I think I haven't seen any other band who has an intro quite like that. Like that's quite different and pretty awesome. They have that kind of sense of humor and self-awareness.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I really like it. It gets your attention. You're like, oh, what's this? It's very striking. It's very, I don't know, just it's different. It's funny as well. No, it sets the mood. It's not too serious. You're there to enjoy yourself. This isn't a serious thing. So yeah, I really like it, and it feels very creative. And they're collaborating with people who they really like, and that's again, this is the power of, like, example, a fan like yourself, Feel It Still, comes along, garners more fans. Yeah, and then you can get collabs with Mike Judge, and you can get intros made. There you go. So it's helping them out in some way, I suppose. But yeah, Beavis and Butthead intro. I wonder if they'll do an adaptation. I wonder if they'll do anything different. I wonder if they'll do like a Chris Black intro or something. Maybe he'll be like, I don't know if that would be, I don't know if the correct is the right term. I know they had to get a bit of sign off from the family to be like, yeah, I'll be okay using the name for the album and that sort of thing. But I wonder if they'll do anything like that. You got any thoughts on that, Jackson? What do you think? Are they gonna? What kind of intro are they gonna do?
I'm not sure. I think that would be a nice touch. I mean, he's kind of talked about these kind of bigger shows they're playing at like Radio City Music Hall and Red Rocks and Hollywood Bowl, and then I think in Edgefield. Sounds like they're going to be like pretty big special shows, more personal for the band. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's something like that. I think it would be a nice touch. Yeah, I'm curious to see.
Yeah, it'll definitely be. I haven't got long to wait. Yeah. The final. So the final segment of this interview bit I've pulled out. They talk about the touring schedule. The host says there are less dates in 2023, but they are at more iconic venues. John goes on to say, with what happened with Feel It Still, we ended up playing every festival everywhere. That somewhere in every festival had PTM playing. And when you do that, and you are thrown in front of these fans, and we've got to play this, and we've got to play this FIFA song, I feel personally attacked. We're going to play this FIFA song, and then we're going to play the other one with the video, and you only get 60 minutes. And it gets eaten up pretty quickly with all this music video stuff and all that stuff. So, looking at all this, it feels weird to say, but when we finished the record, I sat down with Jeff Basker, and we said, this is our best album. And I haven't ever walked into a practice space and I played something for the first time and been like, I kind of just want to play the record. I don't want to play old songs and bring some stuff we haven't done before. You kind of need this jumping off moment, and and the pressure of these venues and these iconic venues, these large venues, I should say, to bring it out of us. Just want to set the precedent for not doing the same thing again, doing the FIFA songs, doing Feel It Still every time. And it felt really amazing. I'm so gracious for the opportunity, and these songs, they feel so great and emotional and represent my friends and family and this group. I'm really excited to get out there and play the new album. Yeah, so that was John talking about, if I didn't butcher it enough, the touring schedule and, what they're looking to maybe, play the new stuff, I think. What are your thoughts on live shows then? What they're planning to do for the foreseeable future?
I'm excited, yeah. I think, it's something people have talked about, like, for a few years there, the set list was pretty locked in. I think that's just, like you said, the power of that song, though. It kind of took them, like, on quite the journey, and it sounds like he kind of just wants to get back to, I don't know, like, I think those, I wasn't there, but those shows they played in, I think it was in Chicago in, like, December, and the set list was, like, very eclectic, like, pretty different stuff from throughout their entire career. I think that was really cool, seeing some of the videos from that show and the new jams and seeing some of those like really old songs live. So I'm really excited to see what they that they've come up with, and it looks like the setup is pretty crazy too. Like it looks like they have like two drummers, like 2 full drum sets that are going to be up there. Then you have like Zach and Eric trading guitar and bass. Eric has that double neck guitar and bass.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think it's going to be.
All right.
It's going to be pretty fun.
Yeah, they seem really comfortable. I mean, they're really good in live, and you know they can wow us. I'm looking forward to it. So, by the sounds of it, a lot of Chris Black will be the main theme. I don't know if they'll just play the full thing and then maybe chuck in a few things in there. Maybe we'll get guns. We never know, Jackson. I'm just for some reason this is on my mind. You know, maybe they'll play stuff from American Ghetto. We never know. You know, we don't know.
That would be cool.
That would be yeah. I suppose they could chuck in the Dead Dog. That was their big one from that one. Anyway, yeah. Any final thoughts about this interview piece by KROQ? Insightful.
I think so. It's pretty good interview.
I'd say insightful.
It's always nice to get that. Yeah, it's always nice to get that insight. The 3 live performances were pretty awesome too. I really like that acoustic version of Dummy.
Yeah, that was
kind of slowed down.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it was slowed down a little bit. Yeah, the track times were a bit longer. They're all over 3 minutes instead of under, which is quite odd. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but everything's been kind of 3 minutes or under, or around that mark. It's kind of been the goal. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Excellent.
It'd be nice to see like some extended jams live. Just really excited to see what they do with some of these songs live.
Definitely. All right, Jackson. We are been through a little bit of the news. Been through some. It's been good catching up with you. It's been good to hear your history as well as one of the newer fans. It's been good for coming on. Very knowledgeable. Thank you. But you're not quite out of the woods yet. Oh no. You said you've seen the show before, and I think you know what's coming up. We've got the quiz game, the PTM 10 questions. How you feeling? There's no pressure on you whatsoever, but that you should be feeling it.
Definitely a tiny bit nervous.
I gave you some hints beforehand. Nothing too obvious, but I've selected one track from their entire discography, entire thing, and you have 10 questions, or 9 and a guess, really, because you can't just ask 10 questions, you won't get it, but 9 and a guess to work out which one it is. I've got it written down here. Do you have any questions before we start that I won't count? Or if you feel good to go?
Should be good to go.
How you feeling? Confident?
I feel like I'm like somewhat familiar with their discography, so we'll see.
So yeah, 10 yes or no questions. You've got to ask me, whittle it down, and I'll leave it to you then with question 1.
Okay, is it how about this? Is it pre or post Atlantic Records?
Post.
Okay.
You mean signing on, I presume? Signing with?
Yeah, I mean
post.
signing with them. You said post, okay. Let's go. How about pre or post Woodstock?
Is it after Woodstock? No. After Woodstock, no.
Okay. I guess. Is it on In the Mountain in the Cloud?
It is not.
Okay. Kind of tricky. Yes or no? Is it on the first half of Evil Friends?
No.
Okay. Narrowing it down. I only get one guess, right?
That isn't a question, but I'll just say yes to it. Yeah, you only get one, guess. You might be forgetting some singles as well, so don't just dive in. To make sure.
Oh, man.
Question 4. You're doing really well so far. You've narrowed it down pretty well.
Is it on the second half of Evil Friends?
Yes. Yes, yeah.
Okay.
What are we thinking?
Is it a FIFA song?
No. It was not featured on any FIFA game, as far as I'm aware.
Is that 5 questions?
That was your 6th one, so you've got 3 more and then a guess.
Okay.
What are we thinking? Talk to me. What is it? What is the? Give us the working out.
Well, it's. I'm guessing it's second half of Evil Friends, and it's not purple, yellow, red, and blue. So that leaves me with 6 songs.
How are you going to divide them up? How are you going to make it easy for you to make this final guess?
Does this song have a subtitle, like in brackets?
No. I'm just going to quickly check. I don't think it does. I probably should check this beforehand. Apologies, but yeah, no.
I only got do I have one more question?
You've got 2 more. 2 more and then a guess.
Okay.
You're right there. You're right there.
The track longer than 4 minutes, or longer than 4 minutes.
Yes, it's longer than 4 minutes.
Yeah, let me pull up my iTunes and look at the run times real quick.
Yes, longer than 4 minutes.
Oh, dang, I just realized most of them are over 4 minutes.
You seem to have eliminated, Sunday Believers and potentially other stuff that is under 4 minutes.
So it's between 4 songs.
Okay. Is it now? Yes.
Actually, no. It's actually between 3. So we ruled off purple, yellow, red, and blue. Okay. Does the song involve? I guess. Dang. I guess all 3 of these songs kind of involve orchestral elements.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you could break it down in other ways, like length of track, maybe like title, something like that.
That's a good point.
Does it have a video? That sort of thing?
Does it have more than 1 word?
No.
Okay, so
There you
down
go.
to 2.
You've got to make a guess though. So you've got a 50-50. You got that? 50-50 guess? Can we get it right? What are we down to then? What are we thinking?
Well, we're down to Waves and Smile, I believe.
What are you thinking? Gut feeling, right now. What one is it? What are we thinking?
I'm feeling we talked about Smile, but for some reason my gut's telling me Waves. Is it Waves? I guess it's my final guess.
Are we locking this in?
Yes.
Jackson, you were so close. You got it down to 2 songs. But I'm not by the beach. I'm smiling. The song was Smile. The closer for Evil Friends, 2013. Oh, you were so close. Good effort. Excellent effort. Oh, I was just thinking, ask a question about the letter S, because all of them have S in them. You could just knock it down. And you got down to 2, and I was like, I felt bad for you. But brilliant effort. You've done, some people don't get that close, so Pretty good, pretty good.
Alright.
I should be mean and give people the Heavy Games Part 1 from 2014. I was thinking of doing that, because that's not many people, or the Endangered song, which Amy guessed last time. I'm like, I actually forgot about that, because it isn't readily available.
Even that one track they did, Oh Boy, for that documentary, that'd be a top one.
Oh, that would have screwed me. Yeah. So, excellent effort. Yeah, and that's pretty much the show that we pretty much at the finish line. Just want to say, Jackson, thank you very much for coming on fairly short notice. We've been sort of trying to get this done for a few days, but it's good to have you on. Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me.
No trouble.
Definitely been wanting to get on for a while. It's just kind of it's definitely out of my comfort zone, but I'm happy we worked it out.
Yeah. I think you've done great. You've been knowledgeable, you've been good on the mic, you've had thoughts and opinions, and you've given us a few stories. It's been a good time. Again, thank you very much. If you have anything you want to promote or anything you want to say, the floor is yours. Any social media or anything like that, if you want to do anything like that, go for it.
Nothing too much to promote. If you want to follow me, it's just my name again, Jackson Perriman. Keep it pretty simple. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much it, I think.
That's on which social media? Reddit, Discord?
Yeah, I think like anything, Reddit, Discord, Instagram, Facebook, if anybody uses that.
I won't be stalking you, don't worry. Find out what he's doing. Awesome. Well, if you've made it this far, thank you very much for listening. We're so close. We're T-minus 2 weeks till Chris Black is out. I will be trying to do one episode on launch day if I can get the time to do it. I should be able to. And we've got lots of guests coming up post-launch as well to get their opinions and thoughts on it. And the foreseeable future, I feel like we've got a lot of content, we've got a lot of interviews, we've got a lot of people to talk to. But excellent. Thank you for listening, and have a good day, guys. Cheers. Bye.